Hi there, this is Shauna from the Foil Fox, and I'm so glad you're joining me today. I have these wonderful stylish florals. This is actually from Spellbinders. It is their set called Stylish Oval Hello You Florals. Has these wonderful dies to make these flowers, and this I'm in love with. This is a plate. It's an infinity punch and pierce plate where you can use part of the ovals or you can use all of it. You can punch out as much as you would like or as little as you like, and you'll see how I'll use it for this. Then I'm going to be using a new paper from Spellbinders. It's called Glacier. It's a beautiful blue, and it's kind of like a hydrangea blue, so it just has the light touch of lavender in it. Then some watercolor paper. I like hot press, but you can use what you like. I have a A2 white card base, and I have some gold glitter paper, but you'll see later I'm going to introduce some others. I'm going to be using some re-inkers. I'm in love with the re-inkers. I have quite an assortment here. I have some water, and I have a couple of paint brushes here. But I'm going to be only using a few of these colors of the re-inkers. Next, we have what I did is I took a panel of that glacier paper, that Spellbinders glacier paper. I cut out this panel. I very, very carefully made sure that all the pieces stayed intact. I'm putting some glue in the back. Don't mind the yellow there. That's just tape where I taped down the plate. And I'm going to put it on the front of my white card base. We're going to just do this right straight off so that this is done, and then we can set it aside while we work on the flowers. But you can see that that's just all on there. We're going to let that dry. It's going to all settle down when it dries. And here are all the pieces. You can see there's 2 pieces to this flower. There's 3 pieces to that one. And then there's a single piece to the third flower. There's actually a 4th one with these little kind of tulip or buttercup type flowers, and they have a little top to them, and then that larger center goes to the center of those 2 larger flowers. Then we have the main piece, which is the stem and the leaves. I'm cutting 2 of those, and then I have all these other leaves, and then I'm going to cut 4 of those little buttercup type flowers, and I'm going to use the watercolor paper for that. So here I've cut them all out. Let's separate them into groups. These are all the flowers because I'm going to start with the greenery first. I have my water. I'm working with this on a paper towel because I'm really adding a lot of water to this, and I want to make sure that they're very, very, very moist. I'm going to add a little bit of peeled paint, re-inker, distress ink. And you can see I put it right on top because I'm right at the bottom of each of the leaves and along the stems of this bigger piece, the main piece. And I'm just letting the water kind of do most of the work. I'm just kind of spreading it around. I use the paper towel underneath it because I want it to absorb this so I don't have a mess underneath, and also it'll dry so much quicker if I do it this way. And it's nothing's precise about this, which is what's so fabulous about it. And I put that more of that dark re-inker the paint right over in the stems and then at the bottom, and then spread it out again until I get to the colors I want. Now, as you remember, I said that we did 2 of these because I'm going to stack one over the other. Normally, I wouldn't color the back one, but I want to make sure that there's color all the way through and there's none of the white that is showing. So I'm just going to paint this one as well. And anyway, if I have 2 of them, then I can choose which one I like on top best. Now, there's these little leaves. There's other leaves, of course, that separate leaves that were painted. And then there's this little sprig of a piece, which we will use, that little stem of a piece, I guess I should say. And I'm just adding in more of this paint. The beauty of using re-inkers is the paint is extremely intense, and so you can get a very dark color, or you can then use water and lighten it up. Now that those are finished, I put them on a clean paper towel and I'm leaving them on. Now they're small enough I can just dunk in my water, which is what I did because there's nothing faster than getting it really wet than to do that. Now I'm using Uncharted Mariner and a little bit of Dusty Concord. You're going to think that some of these colors I'm using might be a little bit crazy or a little bold, but you'll see that really, in my opinion, really makes it. Now there's two pieces to this flower. I want one of these pieces to be darker than the other because I'm going to stack the lighter on top of the darker one. So I'm going to make this one just a little bit lighter and the other one uh, darker. And I love the Uncharted Mariner blue. It's a beautiful blue. And now I'm going to use some of that mustard seed. And I'll tell you, mustard seed is a bright color. You can see I put that on there and kind of went, whoa. But I'm going to embrace it. And we're going to add more of this yellow. And I'm going to add some blue. I'm even going to use a touch of the Dusty Concord as well, because I just want it to it'll look kind of pansy-like, which I like that with the different colors in it. And now I'm going to dunk these last bits of these larger flowers using the Uncharted Mariner again. And I'm going to use the Dusty Concord. I'm going to really make these two smaller pieces darker than the piece in the back, because I want some variation of color in these. Now I'm going to move these, those are finished, onto my dry piece of paper towel so that they can continue to dry even more. And I'll go on to these kind of buttercup type shaped flowers. And I'm going to use that mustard seed onto the cups of these, and a little bit of the Uncharted Mariner again. And then we'll use some purple up on the top pieces. There's these little sliver of top pieces that I want to have darker. And we're going to add some of the purple onto that too. And remember, I cut 4 of these. These are those little pieces. And we're going to add more of the purple in there. And I have to say, if you hear cats in the background, it's because it's morning and my cats sometimes don't like each other too much, and they have a tendency to argue a little bit until they settle down for the day. This is black soot that I put on there. Now I have these completely dry, and I'm going to put one on top of the other, just directly right on top of one another. I'm just making it stronger. It just needs a little bit stronger base, plus it pops it up just that tiny bit, which I do like. So we're going to make sure that I just stack that and put some glue right on top. And now I'll put these leaves, and I'm not going to stack these directly on top. I'm going to move those to where they're going to be a little bit above, so it shows a little bit of dimension. You could put them directly on top if you like, but I like them just a little bit offset. Now this is kind of a puzzle to which leaf goes in which area, but once you get 1 or 2 down, then you know where all the rest go. We're just going to add these on. And I like these different variations of color that we have with the greens. And I didn't want it too strong of a green, so that peel paint really worked well. Here's the flower that is the 2-piece. I put the darker piece on the bottom and the lighter piece on top, and then it has that little center to it. So we'll set that aside and go on to our next one. This one has to have just a little center put to it. And then our 3-piece flower here. These come together super fast. It's really easy to use. And then there's these little pads onto the greenery where you can attach your flowers. Now these little buttercup type ones, I'm going to put the tops on here, on each one of them. And I know these colors might seem a little crazy to you, but to me, I wanted it kind of fanciful, and this really kind of achieves that. And anyway, it's a bright against that subdued cutout border, or background, I should say. Now I'm going to just kind of arrange these. Now there's this little stem. I'm going to stack that on top of one another because it needs a little bit more strength. Now this little piece, it cuts out the center of the bigger flowers and it cuts out the little ones. And I had 3 colors of glitter there. I had one from an autumn collection of L'Enfant. I had a blue and the gold. And I'm just checking out which one I like best here. And so I'm trying the blue and that autumn color that I got from the autumn collection and the gold. And I like the gold, but it's very traditional and I really wanted this to be kind of special. So I think I'm going to go with the autumn. This is, like I say, from the L'Enfant autumn collection, but you know that I have a link down below. Can see all of the complete supply list, so don't worry. Now I'm going to put those little glitter centers to them. And I think using the glitter paper, you can of course use colored paper here, but the glitter paper really makes it pop. And it makes it a little bit more fun too. So I have used the same autumn glitter paper to go on top these little tiny little guys that go on top of these small flowers. And we're going to stick those all on. Get them straight here and see how fast I can put those all together. And then we'll go on. You can see I have my card base sitting there, and I have the sentiment. This is a sentiment. This loving hello is from a paper tray effortless beauty, which is beautiful, but you can use any sentiment you like. In fact, there's sentiments in this set that I have a die that says hello you, and so you can use that. I'm using some small little foam squares, and I'm just sticking these flowers down. And we're going to just put them, if you remember where my placement was, you don't need to use so many of these little flowers, but I just love putting them in. So the 4 of them, I think, really completes the picture. And now we have it on, and I'm sorry if I'm a little bit off camera here. I'm still trying to get used to my new surface, and I think I have more room than I do, but I'm putting some glue on there. We're going to glue this down to this card base. This is a very easy card to make, and it is so impactful, and you have so much flexibility of what kind of flowers you want to use here, and how many, and the color choices. I stuck that little stem with the flowers right in there. Yeah, finally I moved that up. And I finally do learn over time. And I'm going to just kind of hold that up a little bit and stick it under. And now this final one will go right in place there. And that completes the card. And I just love the background, the flowers. It really is a complete picture. Now, I made another one before I made this one, and this has got a gravel background, and I'm using festive berry and saltwater taffy, a little bit of ripe persimmon, and this is lost shadow I use for the gray for the foliage. And you can see, you can just let me know which one you love the best. But let's first take a close-up here of this wonderful blue one. And you can see those colors, even though they seemed a little crazy, I just love how they just really make it all come to life. And you can use any sentiment that you like. On this one, as I mentioned, I'm using Lost Shadow for the gray and the foliage, and then the saltwater taffy, the festive berry, a little bit of ripe persimmon, and that's a gravel background. I'll put that all on the supply list so you can check those out as well. And then we're going to see them together. And again, I would love to hear from you which one that you like best. I know what my favorite is, and we'll just see which one wins out. And then I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was great to have you with you. Here's a recap of what we use: the stylish oval Hello You florals, and the Spellbinders Infinity Punch and Pierce plate, and a few distress re-inkers, which, as I mentioned, they are going to be all listed here. If you haven't already subscribed, we would be over the moon if you would. And I want to thank you again, and we will see you next time. Bye.